Hello, Restoration Church family. I wanted to take just a minute to talk to you about something that I'm praying for in my own life and for you as well in 2022. Perspective, a new perspective, a changed perspective, a renewed focus. With our Lifeline students, we've been talking a lot about this over the past few months as we've been examining how we see and interact with the world around us in light of God's revelation to us through His Word. Figuratively speaking, we've been crafting the lenses that we use to see the world around us by taking a close look at how God has interacted with His people throughout history and then applying that to our daily modern lives. It's particularly important for all of us right now because of the information overload that we all experience on a daily basis that leaves us wondering which way is up, which way is down, who should we listen to, who do we trust, where do we find truth? Well, in John chapter 16, Jesus tells his disciples that they're about to experience something similar. He tells them that he is about to go to the Father and he'll return later to them, but he tells them that in the meantime, they're going to be scattered, that they will try to, as the Message translation puts it, save their own skin. I can only imagine the types of thoughts that must be running through their minds as Jesus was telling them all of this. I mean, he was basically telling them that they were about to feel like they were on their own, and that they were going to have to navigate life without the guidance of their teacher, the guidance of their Lord. They had to feel like they were about to lose their one and only link to the truth. And it seems to me that many of us might feel the same way right now. With so much information or misinformation that's coming at us all the time, it really can be a real challenge to determine fact from fiction and to determine solid counsel from scheming manipulation. And the problem with that is that when we feel like we have nowhere to turn for truth, it becomes easy for us to be influenced by just about anything. Every time we turn on the TV or radio, every time we pick up our phone to check the latest headline or the latest scores or see what our friends are up to on social media, right there in between all of the funny memes, all of the clever DIY life hacks, and all of those great recipes that we just absolutely have to try, right there in the midst of all of that, there's this steady stream of information that's fighting really hard to tell us what we should think and how we should feel. We read articles and watch videos from news media outlets that pump fear and anger into our hearts, and we read the opinions and postings of our friends, and we just can't believe that they think this or that. We can't fathom that they hold a particular point of view, and if we're not careful, we begin to mistrust one another. If we're not careful, we begin to question our relationships. We begin to believe that our brother or our sister is really our enemy. If we're not careful, we begin to be sucked into the drama, the negativity, the disputes, the false narratives, you name it. And really, if we're not careful, we begin to fall for the trap that has been expertly laid for us, all because we've lost our focus. We've lost our perspective. We've taken our eyes off of it. So in 2022, my prayer is that we are able to refocus and reposition ourselves so that we have the proper perspective as we walk through our daily life situations. Now, after Jesus told his disciples in John 16 that there was coming a time that they would be scattered and basically lose their minds, he said to them in verse 33, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace." He says, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." I don't know what lies in front of us in 2022. I don't know what's headed your way, but I do know that there's a good chance that there might be some adversity, maybe some trouble ahead. Now, when I say that, don't let that discourage you. Let that challenge you to change your focus. See, there's another instance that comes to mind when Jesus is telling his disciples, again, about troubles that they're sure to face. He says to them in Luke chapter 21, verses 25 through 28, "There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. People will faint from terror, apprehensive of what is coming on the world, for the heavenly bodies will be shaken. At that time, they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When these things begin to take place, stand up and lift up your heads because your redemption is drawing near." Now, right now, at the beginning of 2022, I believe that's what the Lord is saying to me and perhaps to you as well. If things seem to be uncertain, Or maybe if they seem like they're going crazy, don't start worrying. Don't start looking for the exit. Don't start hitting the panic button. Instead, stand up and lift up your head. Literally, shift your focus. Change your perspective because your redemption is drawing near. Your help is on the way. You're about to receive your answer. I don't know if the Lord will change your circumstance, but I do know that if you'll allow him to change your perspective, then your entire experience will be transformed. I'm praying that in this coming year, the Lord will open our eyes so that we can see his hand at work in our situations, in our lives, in our families and relationships, in our jobs, in all of our circumstances. And I'm praying that he will open our ears so that we can hear his voice as he speaks to us, guiding us to take one step after another, just one step at a time into that place that he's calling us to go. So I speak blessing to you, to your family. I bless you in this coming year and beyond. And I know that this is going to be our greatest year yet.